Welcome to the daily warm-ups. This is an exercise that builds on our last concept of the 8 points. And so if you haven't watched that yet and internalized what that means, definitely make sure and check that out. So the 8 points, just to review a little bit, if you're thinking of a bar of 4 time, meaning 4 even beats per measure, which usually we think of counting our money beat in that way, like 1, 2, 3, 4. We count like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and to divide it. So it still has those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, but we just split it evenly in half, which gives us those and syllables, ways of counting it. And of course, that division is being marked on our hi-hat. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Great. So what if we don't divide the beat evenly in 2 parts? We're still going to divide it evenly, but we're going to go the next level up and divide it into 3s, okay? So thinking we're still going to have 4 even beats, but if we divide the beat instead of twice, which gave us 8 points, so 2 times 4 is 8. If we divide our 4 beats into 3 groups, how many divisions of the beat would we have? Go ahead and say it aloud. That is 12. So this is the 12 points concept. A groove that we're going to learn right now that's going to give us a good context for this. We just think about dividing the beat 3 times per beat on the hi-hat. Blah, 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 theory, theory, theory. Listen to what it sounds like and then try it. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So and you could probably see me counting there and thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're still going to count the big beats 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually the part that was coming out of our kick drum and our snare drum didn't change at all. But we're going to divide that hi-hat part now into even groups of 3, and we're going to count it with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But each of those strokes should still be even. You shouldn't see them stop and start, because that's a different rhythm. We're going for just even triple division, okay? Try that with me. So this is our triple groove in 4/4 or 12/8 maybe. Let's try this. 1 and play and. So now we're going to walk our feet with the big beats 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to play alternating strokes on the snare drum like this. Listen to me. 1 and go and. Okay, give that a try. Play it with me. Ready and go and. Great. So if you remember our 8 points exercise, the first thing that we did was we took point number 1 and moved it to whatever tom that sticking was closest to. And while I know, our right hand is pretty much closest to both toms, maybe actually closer to the rack tom, depending on how your setup is. But we're going to always say that right hands orchestrate to the floor tom and left hands orchestrate to the rack tom, okay? So the first point of orchestration in our 12 points exercise is going to sound like this. Listen to it and then try it with me. Ready and play and. actually going to skip over the second points, the 1, 2, 3, because we're just going to go to the next big beat, because I think it's going to provide another challenge as well. So with triplets, when you're alternating strokes 1 and 2, beat 2, or our fourth point if you're falling, is going to fall to the left hand. So that 1, 2, 3, it's actually the fourth point, but we're going to think of beat 2 is going to sound like this. Listen to me, and it's going to go to the left hand for a rack tom. 1 and listen and Try it. Ready and play and Cool. So now we're gonna again skip the next little divisions and go to what's gonna be beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so back to the floor tom. So just to step outside of this a little bit, you notice that your floor tom notes should be lining up and playing with your bass drum note. 1 and 2 and 3. You know, if it's beat 1 or beat 3, and beat 2 and beat 4, what we just did and what we're going to do in a second, should be lining up with your hi-hat note. 1 and 2. So listen for those, try to, visually you can see, are you hitting your rack tom and closing your hi-hats at the same time? Try to get that so it's nice and clean. Same thing, are you playing your bass drum and hitting your floor tom at the same time? We're going for clean, all right? So let's go to beat number 3. So this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so moving down the list of our 12 points, kind of jumping over some. This is beat 3 though, all right? Ready and go and What about beat 4? Like I just said, we're going to the rack tom. Try it. 1 and go and Okay, let's try putting all of these together. This is, orchestrating the notes that happen on the big beats 1, 2, 3, 4, or I guess points 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so if you want to keep a track that way, that's fine too. So we're just trying 1 bar each. You can listen this time through and then join me the second time, or just try it all the way through. I'm going to play all the way through this exercise 4, or I'll go 2 total times. Let's do that. All right, 1 and go and So as I said with our 8 points exercise, you can get into doing each one of these cells just with your hands at first to make it comfortable. I would say count out loud just to make sure that you're hitting, the right orchestration where you're supposed to be. You can always slow it down, and like I just said, you can leave your feet out if things aren't lining up as they are. All right? Spend a bit of time on that, get comfortable, make sure that you're hitting clean sounds in the dead center of the drums, and good posture, of course, breathing, and having a fun time. All right? We'll catch you next time. Thanks.